So it took me just saying it. Next year, within 10 months, we had made $1 million. I didn't know how, had no idea how, but I had to say it to believe it, to then start to find a pathway to it. Hi, I'm Jacqueline Snyder, and this is the Product Boss Podcast. I've helped launch and grow thousands of product-based businesses, even one of my own. And over the last 20 years, I've seen behind the scenes of businesses just like yours. Whether they are makers, manufacturers, artists, or food and beverage businesses, I have spent so many hours studying it all. I've discovered what makes them successful. What are mistakes they could avoid? How did they turn an idea into successful business? And what are strategies they have used to make more sales and be discovered by more customers? This is what this show is all about. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to become $1 million product boss, I'm here to give you the permission to chase your dreams, no matter how big or small. All you need is the right mindset, a little courage, strategy, and support, and you too can be the next $1 million product boss. Let's do this. When it comes to owning a product-based business, your slow seasons are meant for you to be working on your business instead of working in your business. That's why now is the perfect time to focus on making sure your business runs as efficiently as possible. Finding the right resources to make this happen can be difficult, but my friend, it doesn't have to be. Thanks to Sales Hub from HubSpot. With this all-in-one platform, you can easily manage your customers, increase visibility, and dig deeper into your data with advanced reporting capabilities to help you know where to focus in your business. You know I'm all about focus over here. Plus, it's powered by AI, so you and your team, if you have one, can spend less time on administrative tasks and more time on what matters most, connecting with and taking care of your customers. With Sales Hub, closing deals is no big deal. Head to hubspot.com/sales to try it for free. Hey, product bosses. Okay, today I'm bringing you a really special episode, which originally aired as The Blended Life over on Instagram. If you haven't seen it or you haven't heard, over the past several weeks, I've been going live on Instagram and it has been amazing. And it's allowed me to connect with so many of you. I really love getting to connect and hear from our community, and it's just amazing. So if you're not already following me over at The Product Boss on Instagram, come on over. Maybe you'll catch a live. But while I knew the topics I had planned, I didn't necessarily know where they were going to lead. But what I'm going to share with you today received such an incredible response when we were live that I knew all of you needed to hear it. I wanted to bring it to the podcast. I'm going to be discussing the 3 biggest pain points I hear from product bosses, especially right now. And I'm also going to share with you a few stories of our students who, with a right path, were able to grow their business, regardless of what's going on in the world. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Let's talk about 3 of the biggest struggles and challenges that I see product-based business owners dealing with today, okay? And I want you to tell me if this resonates with you. All right, so tell me if this resonates with you. The first thing would be, do you feel like your revenue is flat? So like due to this economy, whatever the news tells us, whatever we think, do any of you feel like it's really hard to make more money in your business? It's really hard to grow your business. It's hard to bring in enough cash to do the things that you dream of, right? To pay for those hiking or home expenses, to buy, a car for your mom, the thing that's going to, put extra savings for going on vacation. So I think one of the biggest struggles and challenges I see is that people feel like their revenue is flat, their revenue might decline, or it's even hard to just get it going. Okay, I'm getting a lot of yeses. And we could blame it on the economy, right? Okay, you feel like you can't get it off the ground. I get it. And we could blame it on the economy, but I'll tell you, when I started Cuffs Couture, it was in 2008. Does anyone remember what 2008 was? It was the last recession. They've been talking about a recession since literally we came out of a global pandemic. So I say, let's plug our ears to the news and realize that when we know how to deeply connect with our customers, when we know where our customers are, we are all still buying stuff. We are all still buying stuff. The difference is, do you know what I did in that year? I started my business, Cuffs Couture. I made $100,000 in my first year of business. And not only that, I started other people's businesses through my consulting company. And what I realized was when the big guys were pulling back, falling, closing, doors were closing, all this stuff was happening, it left more room for the small businesses. The ones that we didn't have insane overheads, the ones where we could pivot quickly. I saw this happen during the pandemic. We were every single day like, no, keep going, keep going. People had amazing years. So the thing is that we have the ability to pivot. We have the ability to scale. We have the ability to sneak in because the big guys have way more things leveraged. The big guys have all this other stuff happening. We are small businesses and we have the ability to pivot quick. And customers aren't going to stop buying stuff. They're just going to be more thoughtful with what they buy and connecting with small business owners. So when customers are connecting deeply with you and they find the value in buying from you, they're going to buy from you. So I don't want us to get this thing in our brain. The first thing you all said to me was like, can my business make it to $100,000? Yes. Yes. Toothbrushes can make it to $100,000. Stationery can make it to $100,000. I can give you enough examples of big businesses that make a gazillion dollars. So for you, yes. So that's step one to overcome. Step two is don't let the stories, news thrives on drama. News thrives on the good, the bad, the ugly, right? This is crashing, that's happening. Like they all like create this fear because they need to sell news stories. Shut that out and stay focused. I have been through the 2008 recession, the housing crash. I started my business. I started other people's businesses. We are not in the same place that we were. And even if we were, I've seen it happen. So trust me when I tell you I've been an entrepreneur long enough that I got you. Okay. So here's the thing. When this happens, a lot of businesses may be finding it trickier to sell the products they've sold in the past, right? It feels a little bit harder. So we got to get innovative. Customers may not be, buying the same way they used to. Again, we got to get innovative. And what was working maybe doesn't feel like it's working as easy. Okay. We need to find what resonates with your customers. We need to focus on, does anyone know what I'm about to say? Anybody who's been with me for a while? We need to focus on your best sellers. And if you don't know what your best sellers are, then what you can be known for. Because when we give them all the things to buy from, we're diluting our sales, we're diluting their focus. If we lean into our best sellers, if we lean into the thing that we know we can sell all day, every day, we just keep selling more of that. And we get creative in how we market, and we get creative on what sales channels we're in, and we get creative on how we get more customers to find us. So the idea is that we focus on our best sellers and what we can be known for. And like I said, we get our products on different sales channels, different sales platforms. I call it platforms or channels that go back and forth. We have to start thinking like CEOs. We have to start thinking like the boss of our business. Okay, so I'm going to share an example with you. I'm going to just tell you a story. I'm going to tell you about Sarah. And Sarah is from Spark Sugar Co. So back in March, Sarah decided she was going to launch a mission-based business to transform her community by helping her customers and uplifting them around her, right? She wanted to create like real connections with her customers. And she was doing that with gift-ready caramels and sweets. Okay, so she decided she was going to come out with like a caramel and sweet company. So she knew what she wanted to sell, but she was super short on time. And we're digging into time tomorrow because I think another struggle that a lot of you have is that, and tell me if this resonates with you, that you don't have enough time to do all the things. You feel like you have to do all the things, but we feel like we don't have enough time. Does this resonate? You want to create this business. You want to bring in that extra money. You want this business to grow and get off the ground that you don't have to bring your own money in from your own bank accounts. You want the business to make its own money, right? You want the flexibility of time. You want to be with your family. You want to go on vacations. You want to sleep in. But it feels like either the fear of growing feels like there's no way I can do it, or you're doing it and it feels like it's taking up way too much time. Making the products, packaging, shipping, dancing on TikTok, whatever it is, just figuring it out. So again, it goes back to this idea of leaning into what works. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of yeses. This resonates with you, right? Leaning into what works. What can you be known for? So going back to Sarah, she was really short on time because this was going to be her side hustle because she has a full-time job. She's a mom. And she also is in charge of like major volunteer opportunities in her community. That's something that's really like strong for her, that she really wants to volunteer. And so she knew that she wanted to have the tools to help her set up and get going and launch her business rather than having to figure it out on her own. We pay for things in two ways, time or money. People are like, I want to get in front of more people. Well, you can do it with time or you can do it with money, right? You can pay for ads, you can pay for influencers, you can do stuff like that. Same with growing our businesses. We could do it in time and it could take a really long time, but the longer it takes, we run out of money, right? Because we only have so much of it. Or we pay for it to get a faster education. And that's what Sarah did. So Sarah's like, I'm not going to figure this out on my own. I know what I want to do, but I need the foundational pieces. I need to figure out how I'm going to grow and run this product-based business. Anyone else feel like they just want someone to tell them like, how do I do this? How do I get to, $2,000 months? How could I go from a $2,000 month to a $4,000 month to an $8,000 month? Because $8,333 is a $100,000 business. And that doesn't have to be every month. All right. So she didn't want to do it on her own. So she launched her business in November of this last year. And she did her first in-person market in December. And this is what she did. She had joined us back in September in Multi-Stream Machines. She joined us in September. She did her first in-person market in December because that's what we teach inside the program. That's one of the sales channels is in person. But what she did know is that she needed to figure out her pricing. Do any of you feel like your pricing is aligned? Like you're like, yes, I'm making enough money. So when I sell it, I've got enough profit margin that's keeping cash in my pocket that can pay me, that can pay for those home expenses, that can go back into the business and pay for more. Do you feel like you know your pricing really well? So she knew that she needed to figure out her pricing and she used our pricing formula. And as she did it, she was like, holy crap. Okay, she went through this program. She's like, all right, they know what they're talking about. She goes through and she goes, there's no way. She does the pricing formula. She's like, there's no way. Nobody is going to pay me for my caramels and sweets according to the pricing formula. We have a whole template, a whole calculating sheet. Like, no way. They're not going to pay me. This is like literally what's going in. So she decided on the first day that she was like launching this in person, she's like, all right, I'm not going to do the full amount. She was really scared. She's like, I know this is supposed to be the number. No one is ever going to pay me this. So she decided not to charge the full amount that we were saying. And so on day one of her market, she didn't do it. But it was still more expensive than she thought. It was still more expensive than the amount that she was doing. This is what happened on day one at this market, selling caramels and sweets. She started in November. This is her first market in December. Literally, they flew off the shelves at this higher price. It was still higher than she was comfortable with, not as high as the calculator told her, but they flew off the shelves. And she was like, okay, well, if they're flying off the shelves, maybe I should raise my price. I'm going to run out of inventory anyways. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to trust the process. She invested in herself. She invested in a program that was she figured out what her best sellers were. She figured out a sales channel to add on. She was like, I want to make a profit because there's no way this is going to be a business that sustains or builds this life that I imagine if I'm not making money and putting it in my pocket. So on day two of the market, she raised her prices to the recommended amount. And does anyone know what happened? Do we think that she didn't sell a single thing? Like, wah, wah. Like she followed the thing and she's like, that didn't work. No. She raised her prices to the recommended amount. She sold out. She sold out of her products. Over the course of a 4-day market, she made $15,000 in revenue, which is way more than she ever expected. She was expecting she was going to take that stuff home with her, right? No one's going to pay. No one's going to value what she has, but they bought it. She sold out. She made 15 grand over 4 days. So that market, that in-person market gave her the validation that she needed to help build her confidence as a business owner, the boss of her business, the CEO of her business or the boss of her business, to start to have that confidence and say, I need to do the things that are right for my business, right? She had that validation. Other people wanted her product. She knew what they wanted. She knew what they were buying a lot of. It gave her that validation to realize it. And this is what Sarah said, okay? She says, if you need something to help you take action, then you just need to invest in something. That's what she writes. But she said Multi-Stream Machine is a great foundation program to do that. I think that's a pretty incredible story. Do you not? Was that inspiring? So if you ask me, can you make $100,000? She's selling caramels and sweets. Candy shop. Making a lot of money. Second month in business. Okay, so incredible. So, all right, so some of the struggles we talked about was flat and declining revenue due to like a challenging economy. We talked about not enough time to do all the things. And then the third struggle that I find people, product-based business owners that are really kind of like keeping them stuck is it's hard to figure out the best path forward to grow and scale your business. Do any of you feel like you're spinning your wheels or flying by the seat of your pants, or they're trying to figure out what their best path forward is? So I think it's really confusing, right? It's scary. We're figuring this out. Like, we're not sure what to do next. We're not sure the right path to take. And so this is, what I see is that I do see that there's a lot of makers and manufacturers that are flying by the seat of their pants. They're not really following a roadmap or a plan. We don't have a roadmap. We don't have a plan. Just trying to figure it out. We're like, well, maybe if I just post more on Instagram, something magical is going to happen. It's not true. And then also a lot of people, as they're kind of going through this path, are barely profitable, right? They're exhausted doing all the things. And like I said, how can you even think of scaling? You don't have a plan. You're tired. Doesn't feel like there's enough time. Doesn't feel like things are working. So how can you even think of growing a $100,000 business, a $500,000 business, $1 million business, like whatever the number is that you have on your heart that you want to grow your business? It's scary. It's hard. How can I even dream that big? So here's the thing, and this is what I want to tell you. You can't follow a plan when you don't know what your best sellers are. You can't follow a plan when you don't know the products that people are buying that are actually going to generate the revenue for you. And it's also really hard to follow a plan when you don't know what your profit margins are. And if your prices are even if your things are priced correctly to properly scale. It's podcast recommendation time, and this month I am obsessed with the Hustle Daily Show, hosted by Juliet Bennett Ryla, Rob Litterst, Ben Berkeley, and Mark Dent. Brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. I love their offbeat and informative takes on business and tech news. In one of the most recent episodes, they dive into how the pink Stanley tumbler rose is dominating water bottle sales, thanks to internet fame, even though Stanley itself is a 100-year-old company. And now you know that I've done an episode on this, and I am obsessed with the Stanley story. So this goes even deeper into the tumbler rose color. Now, as a product boss, this is the perfect example of what can happen when you find and lean into a marketing strategy that works for you. Listen to the Hustle Daily Show wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, product boss. Okay, so we all know that building a product-based business isn't easy, is it? But here's the truth. It also doesn't have to be so hard. In fact, when you have the right systems and support in place, you can skyrocket your sales and finally create the product business that fits your life and your lifestyle. So that's why I'm so excited to announce that the doors to Multi-Stream Machine are officially open, and we have a killer $500 off discount for a limited amount of time. So if you're a product-based business owner who's ready to build a sustainable and thriving business that can support itself and pay you the salary that you deserve, and if you want a clear roadmap that shows you exactly how to create a plan to sell more so that you can stop guessing and start knowing, I want you to know that this program is in place and you can go through this course at your own pace. And my friend, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Our thousands of alumni can tell you there's no other program like this for product-based businesses in the world. Now, I've taken my 20 years of experience in building product-based businesses, including my own business, which we've created this completely turnkey system to help you scale your business and create the revenue you've dreamed of. Or if you're looking to get more customers, right? Customers to find you easily and to buy from you. And I want to do all of this without you spinning your wheels. And also, I teach you how to do this without being stuck on social media or spending money on paid ads. So that's why you're going to want to head to multistreammachine.com and grab this really special limited time offer, and I'll see you inside. All right, I'm going to tell you about Stephanie of Birch House Living. And does this resonate with you all? Does anyone here feel like they have like a plan? They're like, yes, I know what to do to grow my business. Who wants $100,000 business? Write 100K in the comments. And if it's less than that, write the amount. And if it's more than that, let's write the amount. I remember in 2019, we'd only made $90,000 in our business. And I remember standing up in front of a room of people and I said, I think that the Product Boss could be $1 million business. I literally said that out loud. We'd made $90,000. We were in business for like a year and a half. Who was I to think 10x on this business, right? So it's like, all right, 90, wow. It was just the first time I had to lift my own lid. I had my own glass ceiling I created for myself, right? So many of us create our own glass ceilings. So like there's Oprah's glass ceiling, and then there's, the corporate glass ceiling, and then there's the glass ceiling we set for ourselves. And I used to just want to make $100,000. And then at one point I was like, I'd like to make $100,000 to take home. That was like the salary I wanted. And then one day I had the audacity to stand up with a microphone and be like, I think we could make $1 million. No idea how, no idea when. I just had to say it out loud. So let this be the moment that you say it out loud. A big, beautiful, audacious dream where you dream bigger and you think bigger and you're just going to say it out into the world. Let's just say it. And if you typed it in, say it out loud. Let's say it. 120,000, 100,000. I think I could make 500,000. I think I could make what? Say it out loud. Whisper it to the universe. So it took me just saying it. Next year, within 10 months, we had made $1 million. I didn't know how, had no idea how. But I had to say it to believe it, to then start to find a pathway to it. And it wasn't like with brute force. It wasn't like, we have to do this to do that. It came easier. I just had to lift my own lid. And I talked about this last week. I had to have the blue sky, had to have just possibility and potential. So I love it. A lot of you are putting 100,000, 500, amazing. Keep dropping it in, okay? We're whispering it to the universe. We're whispering it to our own hearts. So Stephanie of Birch House Living, I'm going to tell you another story. So Stephanie started her business. Her first business was Dynamic Doodle Co. And she started that back in 2017. And she really dove into it in 2020 to offer like hands-on musical education. We all know what happened in 2020. So she actually joined us in 2020 inside of Multi-Stream Machine, which is our program. And she drove into this program and then she started with the pricing module. So we're just going back to pricing. So she started the pricing module because we talk about systems, visibility, and sales. So we all need to get some foundational systems right. Visibility is the idea of how do we get discovered by more people, and sales is how do we multiply our sales on more sales channels. Still staying focused. So she knew, for her, it was profitability again. So she refined everything. She figured out her best sellers. She figured out how to boost her profit margins and all the things. So that business, Dynamic Doodle Co., ended up blossoming and doing really, really well. But let's then fast forward to 2023. And she made a friend inside of our program, inside of Multi-Stream Machine. We have this awesome Facebook group. And she actually made a friend. And here's the craziest thing, right? Because remember, 2017, she started this company. She gets it off the ground. It's doing pretty well. Cut to 2023, she makes a friend inside of the program. And this friend was like, there's a portion of her business she wanted to stop offering. So Stephanie actually decided to take over this business. She actually bought part of a company from another MSM student. Deals are being done in the Facebook group, right? So crazy. So this is all of a sudden a new business for her, Birch House Living, right? It's this new business. And she was like, how do I add on a second product-based business and make this thing like sustainable to me? Let me tell you, back in 2017, I doubt that she would have thought in 2023, she was going to buy a business and take it over and figure out how to grow it. But she went back into the program, right? She dug into the program. She grew really fast because when you join the program, you have lifetime access to it. And she was like, what do I need to know for this business? And so building this second business was so much faster for her. She transitioned so much faster into it. She had more rapid growth in the second business that she added, and it grew really, really quickly. She's been doing 5-figure months every month since she bought it. Okay. 5-figure months or $10,000 or more. That's incredible. That's over $100,000 business that she was able to get it going. And so the idea here is like, in 2017, when she was like baby business owner, would she have had the confidence? No, it took her 3 years to start to build the confidence invest in herself, invest in a program, and put the time to make it happen faster to get one company off the ground. And then cut to 2023, she feels confident that she could now, buy a business from a friend and get that thing off the ground. Right? Good for her. That's what Susie says. So here's what I want to say as women. I was telling this to my husband this morning. Actually, I was crying this morning. A little emotional, I think. I don't know what my deal is. But I was talking to my husband. I was kind of like crying. And I was like, you don't even understand, as a woman, a lot of times how hard it is. And especially I'm the breadwinner in our family currently. And I was like, the big dreams I have for myself, the way I want to be a mom, the way I want to show up for my business and our community. And I was like, sometimes it feels like a lot. And I usually cry a little like when we're in launch time because there's a lot happening. It's a busy time of year. And I was like, babe, you have no idea. The number keeps changing. So I'm going to round around 18%. 18% of women-owned businesses make it to $100,000. 18%. And only about 2% make it to $1 million. So that means when I started Cuffs Couture, and I bet you 10, 15 years ago, that percentage was even lower for making it to $100,000, that I was like, the idea that you all want to get there, that I want to be here to support you in getting there, that I believe it's possible, and I want you to believe it's possible as well. And I want to give you the tools because that number has to change. We are smart. If we ran this world, if women ran this world, it would be entirely different. And if we made more money as women, if we built more businesses, we would start to build a world in which we want to see. Hiring other moms, hiring other women, helping other makers, like Susan Gordon Pottery, for example. I know I talk about her a lot, but she's a potter. She started on Etsy. She scaled a handmade pottery business, and she has, at least the last time I chatted with her, 20 potters working for her. How many people are like, I went to art school, I became a potter. Only a few of us ever end up like artists that people buy. So otherwise it's hard to generate money. So like imagine being able to hire other creatives that work for you, other women, creatives, people, whoever you want to hire. This is big dreaming, but we have such an impact that we can make and what we model for our children. And when you could write a check, I was just with Rachel Rogers in Puerto Rico, and there's a birthing center in Puerto Rico because like in Puerto Rico, I think it's like infant and mother deaths are very, very high. And so she was able to write a check to a birthing center that there was a birthing room, and now it's under her name. They like dedicated it to her. But we have this ability to make such an impact when women start making money. The first impact will be for ourselves, right? The first impact will be the thing that we do for our own lives, our own families. And that's okay. We're working our booties off. That's what I told my husband. I was like, I am working so hard to create this life I dream of and imagine. And I really, really want it. And I need him to come on board with me, right? And then as I do that, as I'm able to build the life I've dreamt of and model for my children what it's like to have a mom that's the breadwinner, that like has a community that, helps other people make money globally. Christina was watching. Christina sells hotel sheets, white bed sheets. Her and her husband, Ben, started this company. And they have over $100,000 months now. Because I said something to her once. I was like, what if you try for $100,000 month? I said this to her and she was like, what? Ben, her husband's like laughing, like, and she's like, let's just try it. She did it. She did it again. She did it again. Now her business is like heading towards multi-million. At least it's over $1 million. Still making $100,000 a month, selling white hotel sheets in New Zealand, which has a smaller community. So sometimes we need other people to help us see bigger or dream bigger or to say something to them that's like, Suzanne's here. I remember when Suzanne started her cookie company. Suzanne has evolved since then, but she was selling her cookies for $1. I'm like, you can raise your prices on your cookies. Like, no one's going to pay that in my neighborhood. Suzanne went viral on TikTok. People were paying $3.50, $4.50. Celebrities were buying her cookies. She had a bakery. Like, it was just this idea of like, and Christina says I still blow her mind. We have to do this for each other. I am on a mission that we change this percentage. Not less than 20% of women-owned businesses make it to $100,000. That should be inevitable. And then we start to change the bigger numbers. $200,000 businesses, $300,000. 400, 500, a million, 10 million, 100 million. These are big numbers and like they freak me out too. So I'm not saying that like you have to go like that big, because what we just have to do is make sure our needs are met, that we feel safe. Our businesses, the thing for me, for my business and all the businesses I've ever created since I was 26 years old, I've built businesses, I've shut down businesses, and now I've bought businesses. And I've invested in businesses. And so that's all in less than 20 years, starting off as a fashion designer, being a creative. But what I knew, the first thing I knew was, and I knew this as a young girl, I needed to go to college. I needed to get a really good job. I needed to get out of my house that I was growing up in. That was what I knew. So that was the only way for me to get out, was how do I make my own money? And I'm not controlled, because I had a dad that was abusive and all the things. And so that was my escape route. Got to get an education, got to get a job, got to pay for myself. The second thing for me was, I don't ever want to be stuck. How my mom was stuck. She was a creative, but she didn't feel like a business owner. So in her brain, she's like, I can't make enough money to raise 5 kids. I felt like she was so stuck. So I was like, I need to always make my own money, whether I worked for someone. I just needed to make my own money, that I could always have choices, right? I could always feel safe. That was just for me. That was, for whatever reason, that was very attached with my story, like of growing up. And so for me, it was like, as a woman, I need to make my own money so I could always have choices. Now I'm married to an amazing husband that's talented and incredible. And I actually don't need that. And as of right now, I'm the breadwinner in this family, and I support him as an actor, and he supports me in building this business. But for me, what I want for you and why you do it is, one, we're creatives. And so we have a lot of ideas and we want to make business like products, and we want to sell them, make some money. 2, I want you all to believe that your companies actually can get you to your dreams. They are the thing that doesn't have a glass ceiling. We can grow them as big as we want. 50,000 if that's as big, great. 100,000 if that's as big, great. $100,000 months like Christina. If that's what you want, let's do it. And let's do it together. I hope you feel as inspired as I do, and that you realize that you can build the business and the life of your dreams. Now, if this episode resonated with you and you're thinking, you know what she said? It's going to cost time or money, right? And you might be thinking, I can't keep doing it this way, the way I've always been doing it, right? Because maybe you feel stuck or plateaued, or maybe you don't know the next right step to take to grow, right? The next right thing to do. And you might be thinking, I resonate with what she's saying, but I don't know my best path forward, right? You might feel like your revenue is declining, or you have no idea how to even actually get it going. So yes, my friend, you can absolutely figure this out on your own and piece it together, but it will most likely take you longer. You will have more pitfalls, right? There will be more things that get in your way, but you can do it. And if you're willing to do it and take as long as it takes and spend the money it's going to take to get there, and allow yourself to continue to fall down and make mistakes and try it the way I did when I started my business, right? There were no courses, there were no podcasts, there was no community. So I just, spent my hard-earned cash making a whole bunch of mistakes and learning as I go. Or you can make the decision to invest in yourself and do this through a program that's been proven to double people's sales, right? To, as Annika said, MSM made a baby, because when she started making money through her business, Hey Mavens, she was able to pay for IVF and make baby Maeve, who is a year. And not only that, Annika took off a year on maternity leave, right? None of that would have been possible had she not figured out what to do next in her business. And she not made the decision to invest in herself. And I'll tell you that through all of our years in the product-based space and all of my mistakes and learning from so many product bosses out there, we've put this together inside of Multi-Stream Machine in this proven program to give you step by step. Because guess what? I don't want it to take you forever. I don't want it to cost you so much money. We have limited time and limited money, but I know that this program will help you make the kind of money you dream of so you can live the kind of life you dream of. And invest in the most valuable asset ever, which is you.
So if you're listening to this episode in real time, the doors are closing to Multi-Stream Machine tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. So this is your last chance to join before the doors close and the prices increase by $500. So if you're ready to invest in yourself and your business, and you know that you are the most important asset and you deserve so much more and you deserve this clear path forward, come join us. Head to multistreammachine.com. I'll make it super easy for you and drop a link in the show notes as well. But whatever you decide, I just want to make sure that you take action. And you remember our saying, which is action takers are money makers. Remember, I believe in you and I'm here to continue to support you every step of the way. And I believe in you even if you don't believe in yourself just yet. But let's do this journey together. And I hope to see you inside of the program. And if not, I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, friends.
Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.